Mahyanatimanlasya Jananjana Shnakya Sakshur Unmilitam Yena
Recording in
Tasmai
progress.
Shri Nama Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishnapastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskachai Dusatarani. Hare Krishna, good evening. This evening we will discuss text 8 of the Nectar of Instruction. In this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami, he gives the essence of all advice. What is that essence? Essence of all advice is to fix one's mind on Krishna without deviation by constantly hearing and chanting about him and remembering his pastimes. We will see in the purport that this hearing, chanting and remembering takes place on two levels. One is Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, devotional service in practice, performed out of duty, performed on the instruction, by following the instruction of the spiritual master. The second level is spontaneous devotional service of Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. That spontaneous devotional service in practice. But if we practice Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, it generally leads to Raganuga Bhakti. So we will first read text 8. I will recite the Sanskrit. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Tanama Rupa Saritadi Sukirtananu Smityo Kamena Rasana Manasi Nichoja Tistam Braje Tadanuragi Jananugami Kalam Nayata Kilamityupadesha Saram. Can someone read the translation? Translation is on the screen.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
The essence of all advice is that one should utilize one's full time, 24 hours a day, in nicely chanting and remembering the Lord's divine name, transcendental form, qualities, and eternal pastimes, thereby gradually engaging one's tongue and mind. In this way, one should reside in Vraj, Goloka Vrindavan Dham, and serve Krishna under the guidance of devotees. One should follow in the footsteps of the Lord's beloved devotees who are deeply attached to his devotional service.
Okay. That Srila Prabhupada will start saying in the purport that yes, why should we train our mind during our lives? What's the purpose? That why is it essential to train the mind to remember Krishna? Someone has an answer to that question. So why is it essential to train the mind to remember Krishna throughout our lives? Yes, Venuya?
Hare Krishna, as I understood it, that we can remember Krishna at the time of death, so that's the most important time.
Okay, that's the answer, yes. That we can remember Krishna at the time of death. So let's read the first paragraph. Who can start reading? Someone else can read the first paragraph on the screen up to the Bhagavad Gita quote.
Dear Krishna Maharaj, please accept my respectful obeisances.
Okay. Okay, Erika. Yeah,
The
go
mind,
first. Yeah.
since the mind may be one's enemy or one's friend, one has to train the mind to become his friend. The Krishna consciousness movement is specially meant for training the mind to be always engaged in Krishna business. The mind contains hundreds and thousands of impressions, not only of this life, but also of many lives of the past. These impressions sometimes come in contact with one another and produce contradictory pictures. In this way, the mind's function can become dangerous for a conditional soul. Students of physiology are aware of the mind's various physiological changes.
Yeah. Can someone... I will read first the quote of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita 8.6. Yam yam vapi smram bhavam tayantante kalevram tam tam avetakantya satadat bhava bhavita. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. Okay. Now, Petra, can you read the next paragraph?
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Yes.
At the time of death, the mind and intelligence of a living entity create the subtle form of a certain type of body for the next life. If the mind suddenly thinks of something not very congenial, one has to take a corresponding birth in the next life. On the other hand, if one can think of Krishna at the time of death, he can be transferred to the spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan. This process of transmigration is very subtle. Therefore, Srila Rupa Goswami advises devotees to train their mind in order that they will be unable to remember anything other than Krishna. Similarly, the tongue should be trained to speak only of Krishna and to taste only Krishna Prasad. Srila Rupa Goswami further advises Tishtam Raja. One should live in Vrindavana or any part of Rajabhumi. Rajabhumi, or the land of Vrindavana, is supposed to be 84 kroshas in area.
Yeah.
1 krosha equals 2 square miles. When one makes Vrindavana his residence, he should take shelter of an advanced devotee there. In this way, one should always think of Krishna and his pastimes. This is further elucidated by Srila Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.294.
Yeah, I will read that. Krishnam smaran shanam sasya preshtam niya samihitam tatat katharatasya kuyat vasam prache sada. A devotee should always reside in the transcendental realm of Vraj and always engage in Krishnam smaranam janam sasya preshtam, the remembrance of Krishna and his beloved associates. By following in the footsteps of such associates and by entering under the internal guidance, one can acquire an intense desire to serve the Supreme Godhead. Again, Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Seva sadhaka rupena siddha rupena chatrahi tadbhava lipsuna karya Vrajadokhanusasarata. In the transcendental realm of Vraj, one should serve the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna with a feeling similar to that of his associates, and one should place him under the direct guidance of a particular associate and should follow in his footsteps. This method is applicable both in the stage of sadhana, spiritual practice executed while in the stage of bondage, and in the stage of sadhya, God realization, when one is a siddha purus or a spiritual perfected soul. So what we find here is that first is how to engage the mind. Train our mind. We train our mind by engaging the tongue in chanting the holy names and tasting prasadam. So yes, that is one way. If by the chanting, then one becomes advanced, then one can start practicing Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. But before coming that one must be on the liberated platform. That if one immaturely goes to the level of Ragunuga Bhakti and one is not liberated, then that will not purify his mind, but it will pollute his mind. Because there's still lust in his heart or her heart. That should be very clear. Prabhupada explains that we should not associate with the Radha Kund Babajis. Prabhupada said, when Radha Kund Babajis initiate disciples, they immediately reveal to them what their relationship with Krishna is. In the light of the above analysis, we can understand that such a procedure is not bona fide, Prabhupada says. The way to develop the love for the gopis for Krishna is to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world, Srila Prabhupada says. This is further explained in Nectar of Devotion. The process of devotional services is nine stages from Shraddha to Prema. Shraddha, one have faith, some faith in Krishna. Sadhusanga, one associates with devotees and learns from them how to practice devotional service, bhajana kriya. One takes initiation, one becomes steady in devotional service, and then one gives up one's offensive mentality, one comes to anartha nivritti. And then, after that, one comes to nishtha. When the heart is pure. Usually that may happen after 30, 40, 50 years or after a few lifetimes. That happens. And then, but even before you come to nishtha, because our relationship with Krishna is not something you develop. Our relationship with Krishna is eternal. Krishna says very clearly in Bhagavad Gita, what's eternal cannot change. You cannot change your relationship with Krishna because it's natural. So when the heart becomes purified, then we become attracted to serve Krishna in a certain way. That's our spiritual nature. That comes out. And we become attracted to serve Krishna in a certain way. And when you come to that point, then you are nearly liberated or liberated. Then after liberation, then you get great taste, ruchi, and then you find Krishna in the heart in your Ishtadev, the form of Krishna you become attracted to. And then your relationship becomes fully revealed. From the moment you are nearly liberated and you feel the tendency to serve Krishna in a certain way, then it's mentioned in Nectar of Devotion. Then you have to search in the scriptures Ragatmika Bhakta. A resident of Vrindavan who is an eternal associate of the Lord, that and these activities of this eternal associate, you feel attracted to, because your spiritual nature becomes revealed in that direction. You want to serve Krishna in a particular way. That tendency comes up in the heart. And then you take shelter of that ragatmika, bhakta, this perfected associate of the Lord, the perfected devotee, Nitya Siddha devotee of Vrindavan, that and read about this associate of Krishna in the Bhagavatam, in the scriptures, and do that in a regular way, and that becomes Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. Then the devotional service becomes spontaneous. But that is a very high platform. If we try to do that too early, then we will spoil our devotional service. It's very dangerous. Prabhupada does not advise to jump to Raganuga Bhakti. You serve the mission of Lord Chaitanya, and by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, your Svarup will be automatically revealed. But in Nectar of Devotion, you have these two are described. That the first is Vaidhi Bhakti, which is practiced in the first 5 stages. First, that even further, till Nishta, and after Nishta, steadiness, the stage of Ruchi comes, great taste, Ashakti, Krishna in the heart is revealed in the form that you feel attracted to, and then Bhava, preliminary love for Krishna, and then love for Krishna, Prema. So these are the different stages described in Nectar of Devotion, that and it's very important to study that further there. So that's called Raganuga Bhakti. The Raganuga devotee who is advanced and realized is the way realized is the beginning of his Svarup, wanting to serve Krishna in a certain way. That certain way can be Sakya Ras, friendship, a relation of friendship with Krishna, or parental love, the assisting Mother Yasoda, or a conjugal, assisting the gopis. That we see that all our acharyas, they had realized their Svarup. They were in these higher stages. That Rupa Goswami was Rupa Manjari and so on. That they had all their posts. They had all their service in the spiritual world. That it is said also, Nana Chastra Vichara Naraka Nipuna Sadharma Samstapaka. And that this verse says, it says, Nana Shastra Vichara Naraka Nipuna Sadharma Samstapaka. Lokanatitakariно Tribhuvane Manye Sharanya Karam Radha Krishna Padaranin Vindabhajana Nandena Matalika Pande Rupa Sanatana Ragujuga Jiva Gopalaka. So these 6 Goswamis, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, they all were serving in the mood of the gopis. That was their Svarup. But this is very high. but it's good to have these two levels. Vaidhi, we are practicing Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, and in the future we may go to Raganuga, but it's not really required. If you engage in Prabhupada said, if you engage in Lord Chaitanya's mission, that will be revealed automatically. That it will become natural. You go from Vaidhi sadhana bhakti to Raganuga, because revealing your Swarup is by the mercy of Krishna. It's not something we can develop or control. That, but it can be. We can. It can be encouraged by Raganuga Sana Bhakti, but usually we don't do that unless we get permission for that from the spiritual master. Any questions on that point so far? Yes, Erika.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I would like to ask that actually if someone reached that level to have access to the practice of Raganuga, that person physically also should go to Vrindavan or just in the mind?
And usually we practice it in the mind, but Rupa Goswami here, he says that we just read it, that he says that Srila Rupa Goswami further advises this Tambraji. One should live in Vrindavan or any part of Vrajabhumi. Vrajabhumi, or the land of Vrindavan, is supposed to be 84 crores in area. 1 crore equals 2 miles. When one makes Vrindavan his residence, he should take shelter of an advanced devotee there. So that is a possibility, but our temples are like Vrindavan. It's embassies of Vrindavan, so non-different. Prabhupada preached all over the world, but with his consciousness he was always in Vrindavan. So that is to be practiced. With our mind we should be absorbed in the mood of Vrindavan. The mood of Vrindavan means the mood of the Vrajavasis, the mood of putting Krishna always in the center. That is important. Of course, Prabhupada also said it's good devotees regularly go to India and visit the holy dhams. That will inspire them in their devotional service. Not to cultivate Raganuga Bhakti, but it's good to. I did 3 times the Vrajamanal Parikram, 1 month in Vrindavan, 99, 2000, 2001, and it was quite tough for the body. It's not easy. So because you have to sleep outside or in schools, it was not an easy thing. But you see all the 12 forests of Vrindavan, and you see all the places where Krishna had his pastimes, and that is that is very very nourishing. That because after I came back from Vrindavan, then when I was reading Krishna book, I remember the places where it took place, and it gives an imprint in your mind, a spiritual imprint, and that's an advantage for sure. You learn also a lot about the Vrajavasis, their simple way of life, and it was a very nice experience. Most of the Vrajavasis, when we came by, they were all smiling. They were happy people. Nice to be there. That it's certainly something which we can do regularly, go to Vrindavan, but if it's not possible because of health reasons also, the temples are our embassies, that's also good. And but that does that help, Erika? Okay. That Venuja?
Thank you so much. I have a few questions. I'm sorry. I couldn't follow your explanation what Prabhupada said. Why should we not associate with the Radhakund Babajis? You said they reveal after initiation, and then I couldn't follow. What do they reveal?
Yeah, it's Pranali, I forgot the right name, but this Babajis, you take initiation from them, and they give immediately your identity in Vrindavan. They say, you're a peacock. And then you must come in the mood of a peacock or something. But Prabhupada said this way, this is not bona fide. That we should stay away from them. No, our relationship with Krishna will become revealed from within by Lord Krishna himself if we become pure. Then, as we become pure, we will not really want to serve Krishna in a particular way, in a particular rasa, and we become attracted to certain Vrajavasis mentioned in Krishna book who have this mood. And if we feel that, then we can go to Raganuga and learn about this devotees and how they serve. Then you can read books like the dramas written by Rupa Goswami, Vidagdha Madhav and the other one, and books like Bhavanamrita from Srila Vishwanath Bhakti Thakur, that it describes the eightfold pastime. That's the Krishna's days in Vrindavan as a cowherd boy is divided in 8 parts. And each day and night. So each part of day of night you have pastimes, and they are written here very nicely. Krishna's pastimes with the cowherd boys, with the gopis, with the parental love, very beautiful. But such books we can only start reading when we are advanced. Otherwise, it's not advised. One will misunderstand them gravely if one does not understand the mood of pure devotional service. Does that help?
Yeah, right. And I asked myself, spontaneous devotional service. Also, has it something to do with spontaneous devotional service? And if I, as a neophyte, for instance, I feel one day the impulse, voluntary, I want to make some sweets today for Shishya Radha Mahan. Also, I'm not the cook, ne? But I want, additionally, make some sweets to please them. Has this something to do with spontaneous devotional service, or is it something totally different?
It has something to do with it. That's spontaneous also. But what meant is, like the gopis in Vrindavan, they don't chant 64 rounds, 16 rounds. They don't chant japa. They are not following 4 relative principles. They do it all spontaneously. They don't need any help. And that is spontaneous. Then you are beyond liberation. we have to chant our rounds and so on, and do our sadhana. But once we are liberated, this spontaneous love comes. But even if we are liberated, we continue to chant Hare Krishna because we want to do it spontaneously. We cannot live without the chanting anymore. It becomes spontaneous. That's okay?
Yeah, I understand now better. That means we need our sadhana to be in the right consciousness to serve Krishna at all. So that, yeah, okay, and that is more clear. And well, I don't know if you have answers on this. Maybe we would go back to Godhead, no? And one part of the question is the spiritual body. Also, as I understood it, the soul is the spiritual body. And will we have some kind of like a human-like body, or as you said, peacock, an animal-like body? And the second part of the question is, would we, also for instance, my spiritual master has already left his body, would we recognize each other in the spiritual world? Also, I only ask from my very, very limited point of view, but I'm really interested in.
Yeah, the second part and the first part of your question was?
Yeah, also which kind of body is the spiritual body? Also is this like something human, like a person looking like, or like an animal looking like, or is this?
That depends on your svarup, on your relationship with Krishna. That will be revealed at that moment. That when you become liberated and you come to the stage of bhava, you are serving Krishna. You may be still in this gross body and subtle body, but you are serving Krishna with your spiritual body already. That I think if we see in this verse here that I think it's mentioned in the next verse, that is 10:9. But Rupa Goswami says it somewhere. That moment. Oh yeah, it's in verse 11 probably. Verse that's 10. Oh, that's 5:9. Yeah. That's okay. Yeah, it's mentioned here. In verse 10 we will decide that. Who then will not reside at Radha Kund and in a spiritual body, so the gross body is still there, but one has realized the spiritual body, and this spiritual body is surcharged with ecstatic devotional feelings. That so here it's mentioned here that so if you are beyond the liberated platform, you realize your svarup, your spiritual body is already there. It's just covered by the subtle and gross body, and you are not identifying anymore with the gross body, but with the spiritual body. So when death comes, this gross and subtle body falls away. But you were not aware anymore of them anyway. It just falls away. But it's very esoteric. But anyway, you ask me, I'm telling you what's here and what's in Nectar of Devotion and what's here. Is that okay, Benjamin?
Yes, Maharaj. And regarding this, if we recognize each other, also for instance, the
Yeah.
spiritual master.
That's mentioned in Bhagavad Bhagavatamrita. When Gopkumar finally comes in Goloka Vrindavan, it is his spiritual master who introduces him to Krishna. So if you don't recognize him, it's the one who will introduce you to Krishna. That's him. Good. Okay. That's then we go to the next section. That so we discussed this first, these two stages of absorption. We have Vaidhisana Bhakti, that Prabhupada Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur advises one who has not yet developed interest in Krishna consciousness should give up all material motives and train his mind by following in progressive regulative principles, namely chanting and remembering Krishna and his name, form, quality, pastimes, and so forth. These instructions apply to those engaged in the process of Vaidhi Bhakti. Of course, according to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Maharaj, one who does not chant 64 rounds a day is fallen, considered fallen. As such, how can we engage in the process of Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti? But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the savior of the fallen, has arranged for Srila Prabhupada to give us a crash course that will take us back to Goloka Vrindavan this very lifetime, if we seriously practice Vaidhisana Bhakti and preach Krishna consciousness all over the world. That's how to get the mercy to come to that point. So, Vaidhisana Bhakti we will learn in Nectar of Devotion. There, Vaidhisana Bhakti is explained. Vaidhisana Bhakti, Vaidhi means rules. One follows rules and regulations on the instruction of the spiritual master. The impetus to do is the spiritual master. We don't have taste for it, but we do it because the spiritual master wants us to do it. That's Vaidhisana Bhakti, and Vaidhisana Bhakti has 64 items which are described in Nectar of Devotion. 10 items, things to do, 10 items, things not to do. And then after that, 44 items of how to serve Krishna, how to serve the deity, how to serve Krishna. And that's Vaidhisana Bhakti. That is following these rules and regulations. So deity worship is part of this Vaidhisana Bhakti. It regulates us. We are serving Krishna with our senses, and we become purified by it. And healthy, we become purified. As we become purified, we develop taste. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati explains, after developing a taste for such things, all these 64 items, then one should try to live in Vrindavan and pass his time constantly remembering Krishna's name, fame, pastimes, and quality under the direction and protection of an expert devotee. So you can go to Vrindavan, or you can stay in the temple, which is the embassy of Vrindavan. Embassy is the same as Vrindavan. And then Raganuga Bhakti, when one becomes advanced, I say Raganuga Bhakti, there is no necessity to go to Raganuga Bhakti, but it can speed up the process once your relationship with Krishna begins to be revealed. But it's all depends, this higher stage of devotional service depend only on the mercy of Krishna. In sadhana bhakti, the first part, which is a mechanistic way to perform devotional service, the service is there, but the devotion is not yet there. But as we do it on the spiritual master, on the instruction of the spiritual master, by the mercy of Krishna, this devotion will come. It comes gradually. And then we become purified. So Raganuga Bhakti can be executed in any of the 5 phrases: Santa, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. Neutrality, servitorship, friendship, parental love, conjugal love. It entails following in the footsteps of a confidential associate of Krishna under the guidance of an expert devotee. That is what I have explained. Now we continue. We have a very important part that comes now. So that we all discussed. Yeah, that also. Okay, that's the next part. Yes, Erika?
Yes, Maharaj, I would like to ask again something related to the Raganuga Bhakti. First of all, I have a kind of comment, let's say, regarding to Gopakumar. Actually, if our spiritual master need to introduce us to Krishna, that look like we meet first time with the Lord. So it's very interesting. Anyway, my question is that each of us, probably when we start our devotional service, at the beginning there is some kind of material motivation still. And with the time as we practice, probably that motivation can become purified. Therefore, the reason why we started the regulative principles, why we accept every suffering, every control, if during the it just disappear, like there is not anymore there that desire, which was a kind of fluid in our daily routine, which motivated us, then that can be a kind of sign that we become purified, and that automatically kind of force us to take some other desire, right, which we will help us to continue. But this time that can be maybe a spiritual one. So my question is, if we feel that the regulative principles are not anymore so heavy to perform, or we feel that they are just not enough, or we wish to perform something more, then that can be the sign that maybe slowly we can start to read those books which are still maybe far from us.
Well, I can answer that in 2 ways. The first way I answered already, that if you get taste in devotional service and your suffering is going, or you transcend suffering, you get into the higher realms of Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. Not yet liberated, but then when you feel the tendency to serve Krishna in a certain way, then the desire will come up spontaneously. It's not a desire that you develop. It comes up spontaneously. If the desire comes up spontaneously, you can speed it up the process by hearing about devotees in Vrindavan who have the same mood. That's the principle. You get that point, that first way?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably I am in the middle. I never think before at all to the Raganuga Bhakti, but at the same time now I feel that yes, I don't really suffer so much. It's not so tough, thanks to the Lord mercy, to follow the regulative principles. So I started to feel that I should do something more, but still this spontaneous desire didn't come up.
Yeah.
So I am in the middle to feel that, okay, till now the principles and the rules were the main point. Now I am not anymore interested because till now I needed to do some kind of effort to do it. Now it's more easy. So what I should do more, and that just come naturally.
Yeah, just continue your devotional service and be patient. Be patient. As you further become purified, the desire will come up. It's not something you can control. If you try to control it, forget it. It's wrong. That is the point I'm making. The second point is if you are practicing devotional service for 30, 40 years, you become really senior, that's then a lot of purification would have taken place. Then you can read these books of the six Goswamis and so on. That will not be so harmful, and then see what develops. So is that okay? Yeah.
Yes, Maharaj. Yes, thank you.
Venuya?
Krishnamurti, you were speaking about that the higher stage is only reachable by the mercy of Krishna. I read recently during the Manga Arati in the 19th chapter of Nectar of Devotion, devotion and service and pure love, the extraordinary mercy of the Lord is, and over here's Uddhava's example. Is this something what is relevant or reachable for us neophytes at all? Also for instance, someone really wants but has some obstacles, no, so some attachments or whatever.
Yeah, I would say if you attract a lot like Prahlad Maharaj, you get Narada Muni as your spiritual master. It may happen, but it's very rare. I would not hope of that, but my hope is different. My hope is Prabhupada, praying to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, I cannot do it, please help me. That's where the mercy comes from the spiritual master and Prabhupada. That's.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
He has the power. He has the power to do that. Yeah.
Now you remind me the quote of my Guru Maharaj that success in spiritual life depends on our faith, and Srila Prabhupada, he said.
Yeah. Yeah, Peter.
This part in the purport, where it said, when one makes Vrindavan his residence, he should take shelter of an advanced devotee there. Does it mean that this advanced devotee is guiding one on the path of Raganuga, or how can we understand this?
Yeah, that of course we need guidance. That it's a little difficult for us, because Prabhupada has warned us not to mix with the Vrajavasis. But here, Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Maharaj is recommending that. But Prabhupada did not advise us to do that. That we take shelter of him and the spiritual master. You can still go to Vrindavan and stay in ISKCON temple there, and develop and develop the mood of Vrindavan. I know because the difficulty is that because all these Vrajavasis, they are practically advanced. Otherwise, you don't take birth there. And many times we will see them as ordinary people, but they are not. And we make offenses and so on. So Prabhupada did not advise us to do that. But we have temples at Govardhan, many places. You can stay there, no problem. Is that okay? Good. Okay, then we go to the next part of the purport, which is also very important. It starts here. Moment, put it a little higher. Someone read this paragraph in the neophyte stage.
Hare Krishna?
Yeah, please.
In the neophyte stage, one should always engage in hearing Krishna Katha. This is called Shravanadasa, the stage of hearing. By constantly hearing the transcendental holy name of Krishna and hearing of his transcendental form, qualities, and pastimes, one can attain to the stage of acceptance called Varanadasa. When one attains this stage, he becomes attached to the hearing of Krishna Katha. When one is able to chant in ecstasy, he attains the stage of Smaranavasta, the stage of remembering. Recollection, absorption, meditation, constant remembrance, and trance are the 5 items of progressive Krishna Smarana. At first, remembrance of Krishna may be interrupted at intervals, but later remembrance proceeds uninterrupted. When remembrance is uninterrupted, it becomes concentrated and is called meditation. When meditation expands and becomes constant, it is called anusmriti. By uninterrupted and unceasing anusmriti, one enters the stage of samadhi or spiritual trance. After smaranadasa or samadhi has fully developed, the soul comes to understand his original constitutional position. At that time, he can perfectly and clearly understand his eternal relationship with Krishna. This is called Sampatidasa, the perfection of life.
So what Prabhupada explains that also in lectures, he speaks about that. So when one comes to Varanadasa, the first stage is one constantly hearing the transcendental holy name of Krishna and hearing of his transcendental form, qualities, and pastimes. One comes to the state of acceptance, because I accept Krishna as the goal of my life. That is factually, this conviction is practically liberation. Because after that, one gets taste and one becomes attached to hearing about Krishna. That one is able to chant in ecstasy. He comes to the stage of Smaranavasta, stage of remembering. So this is after liberation, practically. But this Smaranavasta comes with stages. Recollection, absorption, meditation, constant remembrance, and trance are the 5 stages of progressive Krishna Smaranam. So the first stage is in the beginning, one chants and spontaneous remembrance from Krishna comes. Someone don't remember Krishna, someone remembers Krishna. But it comes spontaneously. And then the periods that we remember Krishna become longer. The periods that we forget Krishna become shorter. That's the second stage. And then one comes, and then after that, gradually, the remembrance of Krishna becomes constant, and one becomes absorbed. So absorption is there, and then meditation comes, but gradually, in that stage, that Krishna start to reveal to you his form and his beauty. And you see Krishna in your mind, spiritual mind, and and you see his beauty, but also you perceive his sweetness, that his smile, his curling hair, that a beautiful smile, become attracted, your mind is fixed on it. And then you see, oh, Krishna is in an environment. You start to see parrots, and you see other associates. Krishna is not alone. And then Galdi, when it becomes more intense, you enter Krishna's pastimes, you see Krishna's pastimes. You enter his aprakat lila. That is, then you see Krishna's pastimes directly in your heart, that in your mind, spiritual mind. And then one comes into samadhi, trance. So recollection, absorption, meditation, constant remembrance, and trance. That at first remembrance of Krishna may be in uninterrupted intervals, but then it's uninterrupted. Uninterrupted becomes concentrated, it's called meditation, but it's good going together with Krishna, revealing his forms, his pastimes in the heart. And that is anusmriti. Then one comes into samadhi, and then one realizes one's svarup, one's relationship with Krishna. And his spiritual body, his spiritual form is revealed. And that is Sampati Das, the perfection of life. Yes, Erika.
I would like to ask, at the stage of remembrance, we can remember for the Krishna Katha what we listen and what we read, right? So it's basically Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. And my question is, to be honest, I am not so attracted because of the demons. And therefore, what a devotee can do, if even if I just think about the Gita, there are so much suffering, and is very, very seriously painful sometimes if he want to meditate on that what happened. And even at Vrindavan, when Krishna is little and all the demons come, I how can I say, I wish to have a kind of access for those lilas when there are not suffering, no demons, no one want to kill no one.
Yeah, but I think there's a misunderstanding here. That this is revealed by Krishna from within the heart. It does not depend on what you have remembered in this lifetime, what you have remembered from the Bhagavatam and so on. It is not that. It's not that. It is Krishna revealing directly from within the heart, the spiritual world to you. So that is a high stage. That I doubt that there is one devotee in our movement who is on that stage. It's not an easy thing. This is Sampati Das, the perfection of life. It's not a thing from your remembrance and your mind and so on. It's a spiritual mind. It's Krishna directly revealing. It's something completely different. We have no idea from what it is. It's theoretical, but I don't want to teach it, but it's mentioned here, I mention it. but we have misconception about that. We should never think we are on that level. Venuya.
Hare Krishna, I would like to understand a little better the stage of samadhi. Is it like a permanent stage of consciousness? Also, because he stated comes to understand his constitutional position. Also, for instance, was Prabhupada always in samadhi? Also, always, also during all his dealings, also all his all his services during the day, or is samadhi something in deep meditation, as you sit in deep meditation and then you are in this samadhi condition?
Prabhupada came down from the Uttamadhikar platform to the Madhyamadhikar platform to service. And that he had no need to come to the West. He was in this samadhi. But he didn't want it. He said, I want to spread Krishna consciousness and follow my instruction of my spiritual master. And he came to the West. And but yes, Prabhupada certainly had realized his Svarup. But when Vishaka asked Prabhupada if she wanted to know what was his Svarup, Prabhupada said, that's none of your business. That if someone reveals his Svarup, he loses it. It is confidential. It's between you and Krishna. That's very important. If one realizes that, then one never speaks about it. Never. If one speaks about it, then it's not real anymore. One falls down from his position. Because your relationship with Krishna is confidential. It should not be revealed. That's also in Nectar of Devotion, if you read it, chapter 19, 18, 19 and further. Something else? Okay, then we go to I think there's one more paragraph, right? Okay. Who wants to read the last paragraph? Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Chaitanya Charitamrita advises those who are neophytes to give up all kinds of motivated desires and simply engage in the regulative devotional service of the Lord according to the direction of scriptures. In this way, a neophyte can gradually develop attachment for Krishna name, fame, form, qualities, and so forth. When one has developed such attachment, he can spontaneously serve the lotus feet of Krishna even without following the regulative principles. This stage is called Raga Bhakti, or devotional service in spontaneous love. At that stage, the devotee can follow in the footsteps of one of eternal associates of Krishna in Vrindavan. This is called Raganuga Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti, or spontaneous devotional service, can be executed in the Shantarasa, when one aspires to be like Krishna's cow, or stick or flute in the hand of Krishna, or the flowers around Krishna's neck. In the Dasya Rasa, one follows in the footsteps of servants like Chitraka, Patraka, or Rataka. In the friendly Sankhya Rasa, one can become a friend like Baladeva, Sridama, or Sudama. In the Vatsalya Rasa, characterized by parental affection, one can become like Nanda Maharaj or Yashoda, and in the Madhurya Rasa, characterized by conjugal love, one can become like Srimati Radharani or her lady friends such as Lalita or her serving maids Manjaris like Rupa and Rati. This is the essence of all instruction in the matter of devotional service.
So, important is that when one has developed such attachment, he can spontaneously serve the lotus feet of Krishna without following the regulative principles. So that is the stage of attachment is ruchi, when great attachment develops. That's a stage beyond liberation. Nishtha is liberation. Then one is already transcendental in Shuddha Sattva. So these are very high stages described here. But I repeat again. So the stage of being always engaged in hearing Krishna, that's called Shravana Dasa. Then one comes to the stage of acceptance. Acceptance means I become attached to hearing about Krishna. So one is hearing out of taste, not out of duty. That's the difference between Vaidhi and Raganuga Bhakti. Then you come to Raganuga. And then when one comes to that, and when one can chant in ecstasy, that's Smaranavasta, then the stage of remembering comes. So these are the 3 stages. Shravanadasa, one engages in hearing of chanting the holy name, hearing about Krishna. Next stage is Svarnadasa, one becomes attached to it. It becomes tasty there. One does it spontaneously. And then the third stage is Smaranavasta, the stage of remembering. And that stage of remembering, Smaranavasta, has 5 stages of Krishna Smaranam. One first stage is recollection. Recollection is uninterrupted. Second stage is absorption, uninterrupted remembrance. Third stage is meditation, constant remembrance. Fourth stage is constant remembrance and anusmriti, one meditation expands. And then spiritual trance, samadhi. Then we start to understand our original position and one can perfectly and clearly understand one's relationship with Krishna. That's some patidas, perfection of life. So recollection, absorption, meditation, constant remember, spiritual trance. Okay, is that clear? These points? Okay. Then we come to text 9, 10, and 11. So text 9, I read, Vaikunta janite varama dupuri tatrapya sotsavat, Vrindarayam udarapani ramanat tatrapi govardhana, Radha kundamihapi kokula pate premamrita plavanat, Koya asya virachato giritati sevam viveki naka. Can someone read this?
The holy place known as Mathura is spiritually superior to Vaikuntha, the transcendental world, because the Lord appeared there. Superior to Mathura Puri is the transcendental forest of Vrindavana, because of Krishna's Rasalila pastimes. And superior to the forest of Vrindavana is Govardhana Hill, for it was raised by the divine hand of Sri Krishna and was the site of his various loving pastimes. And above all, the super excellent Sri Radha Kunda stands supreme, for it is overflooded with the ambrosial nectarian prema of the Lord of Gokula, Sri Krishna, where then is the intelligent person who is unwilling to serve this divine Radha Kund, which is situated at the foot of Govardhana Hill.
So, we have here 2 paragraphs, but in summary here, that superior to the Vaikuntha is Mathura. Why is it superior? Why is Mathura superior? Because Krishna appeared there. That's the first point. And then, superior to Mathura are the 12 forests of Vrindavan. Why is that? Because Krishna performed his childhood pastimes there. And then, higher than the 12 forests of Vrindavan is Govardhan Hill. Because, for 2 reasons. It's a place where he tends the cows and with his cowherd friends, and it's the rendezvous place of the loving pastimes with Srimati Radharani. But higher than Govardhan is Radhakund, because their love for Krishna overflows. And this is a place where the most confidential pastimes take place. So someone else can read the first paragraph of the purport.
Hare Krishna, the spiritual world is 3/4 of the total creation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is the most exalted region. The spiritual world is naturally superior to the material world. However, Mathura and the adjoining areas, also appearing in the material world, are considered superior to the spiritual world because the Supreme Personality of God Himself appeared at Mathura. The interior forests of Vrindavan are considered superior to Mathura because of the presence of the 12 forests Dvadashavana, such as Talavana, Madhuvan, and Bahulavan, which are famous for the various pastimes of the Lord. Thus, the interior Vrindavan forest is considered superior to Mathura. But superior to these forests is the divine Govardhan Hill, because Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill like an umbrella, raising it with his lotus-like beautiful hand to protect his associates, the denizens of Raj, from the torrential rains sent by the angry Indra, king of the demigods. It is also at Govardhan Hill that Krishna tends the cows with his cowherd friends, and there also he had his rendezvous with his most beloved Sri Radha and engaged in loving pastimes with her. Radhakunda at the foot of Govardhan is superior to all because it is there that love of Krishna overflows. Advanced devotees prefer to reside at Radhakund because this place is the site of many memories of the eternal loving affairs between Krishna and Radharani Rati Vilasha.
Yes. Now we will hear about the discovery of these places. Can someone else read the second paragraph?
In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, it is stated that when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first visited the area of Rajabhumi, he could not at first find the location of Radhakund. This means that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was actually searching for the exact location of Radhakund. Finally, he found the holy spot, and there was a small pond there. He took his bath in that small pond and told his devotees that the actual Radhakund was situated there. Later, the pond was excavated by Lord Chaitanya devotees, headed first by the 6 Goswamis, such as Rupa, Raghunatha Dasa. Presently, there is a large lake down Radhakund there. Srila Prabhupada Goswami has given much stress to Radhakunda because of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire to find it. Who then would give up Radhakund and try to reside elsewhere? No person with transcendental intelligence would do so. The importance of Radhakund, however, cannot be realized by other Vaishnava Sampradayas, nor can persons uninterested in the devotional service of the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understand the spiritual importance and divine nature of Radhakund. Thus, Radhakund is mainly worshipped by the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, the followers of Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Yeah, thank you. So, it were the 6 Goswamis, especially Raghunadas Goswami, who excavated the ponds. Also, Rupa Goswami emphasized the importance of Radhakund because of Lord Chaitanya's desire to find it. Therefore, persons with transcendental intelligence will try to reside there. The importance of Radhakund cannot be realized by other Vaishnava Sampradayas, nor can persons interested in the devotional service of the Lord understand the spiritual importance and divine nature of Radhakund. Because we are the only Sampradaya which has access to the conjugal love of Krishna. That's the highest, most intense love for Krishna that the Shi Sampradaya has no access. They are going up to Vaikuntha. That the other Sampradayas I don't know, but this is just. But that's what Prabhupada says. Only in our tradition, which has this conjugal love, which was revealed by Lord Chaitanya, can the importance of Radhakund be realized. Text 10. Text 10, that's so in text 9 we have heard about the hierarchy of difference of the Lord's creations. That's Vaikuntha, higher Mathura, higher than Mathura. The 12th forest of Vrindavan, higher than 12th forest is Giriraj, Maharaj Govardhan, and highest is Radhakund. That now in text 10 we find a different hierarchy of different beings within the creation, and that but we come to a similar conclusion. In text 9 explains that Radhakund is the topmost region of all creations. And text 10 states that Radhakund is the place of residence for the topmost human being. We are coming again to Radhakund. Okay, we will go to these different kinds that Karmebhya paritohare priyataya bhaktimyayo yaninas tebhyo jana vimukta bhakti parama pramaika nishtas tata tebhyasta pasupala pankachadrishastabhyo pisaradika presta tavatyam tadiya sarasitam nasrayatka kriti. Someone can read the translation.
Hare Krishna, in the Shastra it is said that of all types of fruitive workers, he who is advanced in knowledge of the higher values of life is favored by the Supreme Lord Hari. Out of many such people who are advanced in knowledge, jnanis, one who is practically liberated by virtue of his knowledge may take to devotional service. He is superior to the others. However, one who has actually attained prema, pure love of Krishna, is superior to him. The gopis are exalted above all the advanced devotees because they are always totally dependent upon Sri Krishna, the transcendental cowherd boy. Among the gopis, Srimati Radharani is the most dear to Krishna. Her Kunda, lake, is as profoundly dear to Lord Krishna as is most beloved of the gopis, who then will not reside at Radhakunda and in a spiritual body surcharged with aesthetic devotional feelings, Apakrita Bhava, render loving service to the divine couple, Sri Sri Radha Govinda, who perform their Astakarya Lila, the eternal eightfold daily pastimes. Indeed, those who execute devotional service on the banks of Radhakunda are the most fortunate people in the universe.
Yeah, this Astakarya Lila, eightfold daily pastimes, again described in Bhavanamrita, but from Srila Vishwanath Bhakti Thakur. There are also other descriptions of that by our acharyas. But one can do that only in the higher stages of devotional service. Now we will hear in the purport about all these different kinds. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, as they surrender unto me, I reward them. That 4:11. That it means according to their level of surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Some are rewarded residents in the heavenly planets, in the Brahma Jyoti, others go to Vaikuntha, others goes to Goloka Vrindavan. So we hear about this in this verse, that But we will first hear about the materialist, and those who are called karmis. They want material profit for personal or extended sense gratification. That's the first kind of materialist, is the karmi. The second part is the vikarma, me. One works for sense gratification, but does not follow religious principles. After that, the vikarmas are degraded to lower species of life. They go to hellish planets. That so many things are described. If you can read about this in third canto, chapter 30 of the Bhagavatam, Adverse Fruitive Activities by Lord Kapila Dev. He describes all the sufferings these vikarmas have to go to. So where karmis follow religious principles to gain material profit, and they go to the heavenly planets, but they have to come back. But the vikarmas, they are degraded. They go to lower species of life. And that's described here also in the purport. I will read the first part. At present moment, almost everyone is engaged in some kind of fruitive activity. Those who are desirous of gaining material profits while working are called karmis, or fruitive workers. All living entities within this material world have come under the spell of Maya, that is described in the Vishnu Purana 6.7.61. Vishnu Sakti Parapokta Kshetra Kya Tata Para Avidya Karma Samhyanya Tritiya Sakti Isyate Madhya Lila 6.154. Sages have divided the energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead into three categories, namely spiritual energy, marginal energy, and material energy. The material energy is considered to be third-class energy, Tritiya Sakti. Those living beings within the jurisdiction of the material energy sometimes engage themselves like dogs and hogs in working very hard simply for sense gratification. However, in this life or after executing pious activities in the next life, some karmis become strongly attracted to performing various kinds of sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas. Thus, on the strength of their pious merit, they are elevated to the heavenly planets. Actually, those who perform sacrifices strictly according to the Vedic injunctions are elevated to the moon and planets above the moon. As mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 9.21, Ksini Punye Martya Lokam Vishanti. After exhausting the results of their so-called pious activities, they again return to the earth, which is called Martya Loka, the place of death. Although such persons may be elevated to the heavenly planets by their pious activities. Although they may enjoy life there for many thousands of years, they nonetheless must return to this planet when the results of their pious activities are exhausted. So Prabhupada will now speak about the karmis and the vikarmis. First, the position of the karmis. Can someone read?
This is the position of all karmis, including those who act piously and those who act impiously. On this planet, we find many businessmen, politicians, and others who are simply interested in material happiness. They attempt to earn money by all means, not considering whether such means are pious or impious. Such people are called karmis or gross materialists. Among the karmis are some vikarmis, people who act without the guidance of Vedic knowledge. Those who act on the basis of Vedic knowledge perform sacrifices for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu and to receive benedictions from him. In this way, they are elevated to higher planetary systems. Such karmis are superior to the vikarmis, for they are faithful to the directions of the Vedas and are certainly dear to Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita 4:11, Krishna says, Ye yathamam prapadyante tathaiva bhajami aham. In whatever way one surrenders unto me, I reward him accordingly. Krishna is so kind that he fulfills the desires of the karmis and jnanis, not to speak of the bhaktas. Although the karmis are sometimes elevated to higher planetary systems, as long as they remain attached to fruitive activities, they must accept new material bodies after death. If one acts piously, he can attain a new body among the demigods in the higher planetary systems, or he may attain some other position in which he can enjoy a higher standard of material happiness. On the other hand, those who are engaged in impious activities are degraded and take birth as animals, trees, and plants. Thus, those fruitive actors who do not care for the Vedic directions, vikarmis, are not appreciated by learned saintly persons. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.4,
Numam pamatako te vikarmaya dindya pitya aprinoti na sadhumanye yat atmayam asana pikleshta asde ham. Materialists who work hard like hawks and dogs simply for sense gratification are actually mad. They simply perform all kinds of abominable activities simply for sense gratification. Materialistic activities are not at all worthy of an intelligent man, for as a result of such activities one gets a material body which is full of misery. The purpose of human life is to get out of the threefold miserable condition, which are concomitant with material existence. Unfortunately, fruitive workers are made to earn money and acquire temporary material comfort by all means. Therefore, they risk being degraded to lower species of life. Materialists foolishly make plans to become happy in this world. They do not stop to consider that they will live only for a certain number of years, out of which they must spend a major portion acquiring money for sense gratification. Ultimately, such activities end in death. Materialists do not consider that after giving up the body, they may become embodied as lower animals, plants, or trees. Thus, all their activities simply defeat the purpose of life. Not only are they born ignorant, but they act on a platform of ignorance, thinking that they are getting material benefits in the shape of skyscraper buildings, big cars, honorable positions, and so on. The materialists do not know that in the next life they will be degraded, and that all their activities simply serve as parabhav, their defeat. Thus it is the verdict of Srimad Bhagavatam. Parabhavas tavat abodha jata. So what Prabhupada is explaining here is there are two kinds of materialists, the karmis, the vikarmis. Karmis and vikarmis both want sense gratification. But the karmis, they follow the Vedic system, the scriptures. The vikarmas act against the scriptures. So the karmis, they are mostly following karma kanda, which is described in the Vedas as ways to elevate oneself to higher planetary systems, that by certain rituals, sacrifices, giving charity, so many things are explained there. And that is according to the scriptures. And the vikarmis, they break the principles of religion, all regulated principles, and they will enjoy whatever they can. They go to the vikarmis, they are going to lower species of life. They are going to lower species of life. But whether karmi or vikarmi, both stay in material life. You go to heaven, you have to come back. You do sinful activities, you go to hell, you become an animal, and after many lives you come back to the human life. It's the same thing. You stay in material life. So higher than that is those who want to get out of material existence. So higher than the materialistic karma and the vikarma is the jnani. And now Prabhupada speaks about the jnani. Can someone read the next paragraph?
Hare Krishna, one should therefore be eager to understand the science of the soul, Atma Tattva. Unless one comes to the platform of Atma Tattva, by which one understands that the soul and not the body is oneself, one remains on the platform of ignorance. Out of thousands and even millions of ignorant people who are wasting their time, simply gratifying their senses, one may come to the platform of knowledge and understand higher values of life. Such a person is called a jnani. The jnani knows that fruitive activities will bind him to material existence and cause him to transmigrate from one kind of body to another. As indicated in Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.5 by the term sarira bandha, bound to bodily existence, as long as one maintains any conception of sense enjoyment, his mind will be absorbed in karma, fruitive activity, and this will oblige him to transmigrate from one body to another.
Yes. So out of thousands or even millions of ignorant people who are wasting their lives, their time simply by gratifying their senses, one may come to the platform of knowledge and understand the higher values of life. Such a person is called a jnani here. That although a jnani is liberated from gross ignorance of the karmis, his knowledge is still impure until he takes up to devotional service. That we will hear hereafter. Can someone read the next paragraph?
Thus a jnani is considered superior to karmi because he at least refrains from the blind activities of sense enjoyment. This is the verdict of the Supreme Person of Godhead. However, also a jnani may be liberated from the ignorance of the karmis. Unless he come to the platform of devotional service, he is still considered to be in ignorance, avidya. Although one may be accepted as a jnani or one advanced in knowledge, his knowledge is considered impure because he has no information of devotional service and thus neglects the direct worship of the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So then in the next paragraph, Prabhupada explains that a jnani who takes up bhakti, devotional service, is called jnani vimukta bhakti parama. He is in Bhagavad Gita refers as Sudurlabha Mahatma, that it's very rare that this happens, and he is favored by Lord Hari. So Krishna says that also in Bhagavad Gita. So Chaturvidha Bhajantimam, Yechna Paripas, Yechna Sukitaryana, Artasignasar, Artartijansa Paratakshava. There are four kinds of people who approach Krishna with material desires. It's the one who is in distress, one who wants wealth, one who is curious, and one who wants to know the absolute truth, the jnani. And Krishna says the jnani is the best of all, because he has no material desires. He just wants to know me, and he says, Baunam jnanam anante jnanam pavachti vastir savamiti samatma subur sudurlabha. After many births, he comes to me. He comes after many births. He comes to understand that Lord Vasudeva, Krishna, is the goal of life, and then he comes, takes up bhakti. That's described here in the next verse. I see Prabhupada quotes that verse also that I just quoted. Can someone read? When a jnani takes to devotional service.
when a jnani takes to devotional service, he rapidly becomes superior to an ordinary jnani. Such an advanced person is described as jnana vimukta bhakti parama. How a jnani takes to devotional service is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 7.19, wherein Krishna says, Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavamam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Actually, a person who is wise when he surrenders unto the lotus feet of Krishna, but such a Mahatma great soul is very rare.
Yeah.
After that,
Yeah, there are two kinds of jnanis. There are the Brahmavadis and the Mayavadis. The Brahmavadis, they accept the form of the Lord as real, spiritual, but they think Brahman is higher or Paramatma is higher. There are these that since Krishna is Antaram, he doesn't need our service. Therefore, they remain neutral in Santaraj. These are the Brahmavadis. Examples of this is the four Kumaras who followed processes of liberation that will bring one to Brahman, liberation, and there's tapasya, vairagya, sankhya, and yoga. These are the four processes they follow. But they are not offensive toward Krishna. But the Mayavadis, they are offensive. That they think that the Lord is pastimes, activities, and his external energy are all Maya. Therefore, they are Mayavadi of apparati offenders of Krishna. So can someone read the next paragraph after taking to...
After taking to devotional service under the regulative principles, a person may come to the platform of spontaneous love of Godhead, following in the footsteps of great devotees like Narada and Sanaka and Sanatana. The Supreme Personality of Godhead then recognizes him to be superior. The devotees who have developed love of Godhead are certainly in an exalted position.
So,
of all these devotees,
Sanaka, Sanatan, they were four Kumaras, and they followed this process of liberation. They were impersonalists until they met Lord Narayan at the gate of Vaikuntha by smelling the tulsi leaves offered to the lotus feet of Lord Narayan. Their mind changed, and they took to devotional service. So they are examples of Brahmavadis who became devotees. And now the highest. Yes, let's hear about the devotees. So Prabhupada will speak here about the devotees who perform devotional service out of spontaneous love are superior to those who are following Vaidhi sadhana bhakti or devotional service according to regulative principles. And among all the devotees, the highest are the gopis. They are superior. Why? Because they do not know anything than satisfying Krishna. They do not expect any return from Krishna. That's why they are the highest. Among the gopis, Srimati Radharani is the best. Her devotion is so great that even Krishna cannot understand it. Therefore he took her position and appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just to understand her transcendental feelings. And then at the end, Prabhupada will speak about Vipralanda Seva. Thinking of Krishna in separation is far better than serving Krishna directly. That we will hear now. Someone can read this last paragraph. No, this is the second last.
all of these devotees, the gopis, are recognized as superior because they do not know anything other than satisfying Krishna, nor do the gopis expect any return from Krishna. Indeed, sometimes Krishna puts them into extreme suffering by separating himself from them. Nonetheless, they cannot forget Krishna. When Krishna left Vrindavan for Mathura, the gopis became most dejected and spent the rest of their lives simply crying in separation from Krishna. This means that, in one sense, they were never actually separated from Krishna. There is no difference between thinking of Krishna and associating with him. Rather, Vipralamba Seva, thinking of Krishna in separation, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did, is far better than serving Krishna directly. Thus, of all the devotees who have developed an NOI devotional love for Krishna, the gopis are the most exalted. And out of all these exalted gopis, Srimati Radharani is the highest. No one can excel the devotional service of Srimati Radharani. Indeed, even Krishna cannot understand the attitude of Srimati Radharani, therefore he took her position and appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just to understand her transcendental feelings. In this way, Srila Rupa Goswami gradually concludes that Srimati Radharani is the most exalted devotee of Krishna, and that her Kunda lake, Sri Radha Kunda, is the most exalted place. This is verified in the quotation from Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Uttarakanda 45, as quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yata Radha Priya Vishnus, Tasya Kundam Priyam Tata, Sarva Gopeshu Saivaika, Vishnur Atantya Vallabha. Just as Srimati Radharani is there to Supreme Lord Krishna Vishnu, so her bathing place, Radhakund, is equal there to Krishna. Among all the gopis, she alone stands supreme as the Lord most beloved. Therefore, everyone interested in Krishna consciousness should ultimately take shelter of Radhakund and execute devotional service there throughout one's life. This is the conclusion of Rupa Goswami in the 20th verse of Upadeshamrita.
Okay, so when we speak about the devotees, the levels of devotees, you have those who are following Vaidya Sadhana Bhakti, just following the regulative principles of devotional service under the guidance of a spiritual master. That these are the lowest, and then higher than that are those who are performing devotional service out of spontaneous love. They are all liberated. And among all these liberated devotees, the highest are the gopis. Why? Two reasons. They only want to satisfy Krishna, and they do not respect any return from Krishna. And among the gopis, Srimati Radharani is the best. And so, to understand the mood of Srimati Radharani, Lord Chaitanya took our position, our transcendental feelings. Prabhupada makes the point, serving Krishna in separation is better than serving Krishna directly. Because in separation we increase our love. Then the Radha Kund is most exalted and as dear as Radharani herself. This is confirmed here in Laghu Bhagavatamrita, which is quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Therefore, the conclusion is everyone interested in Krishna consciousness should take shelter of Radhakund and perform devotional service in Radhakund. However, this can only be done when we have a body spiritually surcharged with ecstatic devotional feelings. Otherwise, you cannot reside there. You have to come on that platform first. That means one must have attained at least Bhava Bhakti. That's a stage before Prema. So these are important statements. Text 10 describes Bhava Bhakti, the stage at which a spiritual body surcharged with apricot bath, one renders service to Radha and Krishna. The spiritual body, spiritualized body of the spiritual master, the iron rod constantly immersed in the fire of pure unalloyed devotional service. Of course, that we are in the line of Prabhupada, and there's no question of leaving the preaching field to go to Radha Kund. The qualification may be there, but we cannot do that. Now we are coming at the last verse, 11. Krishnayo chai pranayavasiti prayasibhyo pyarada kundam sasya munibir abitas tatrecheva vyatai yapester apyalam asulabam kimpunar bhakti bhajam tam premidam sakitab api saras natur avishkaroti. Can someone read the translation? Text 11.
Of the many objects of favored delight and of all the lovable damsels of Rajabhumi, Srimati Radharani is certainly the most treasured object of Krishna's love, and in every respect, her divine Kunda is described by great sages as similarly dear to him. Undoubtedly, Radhakund is very rarely attained, even by the great devotees. Therefore, it is even more difficult for ordinary devotees to attain. If one simply bathes once within those holy waters, one's pure love of Krishna is fully aroused.
Yes. So this text 11 illustrates the point that the cultivation of spiritual life is a gradual process. In the same way as like one studies the Bhagavatam, one must first read the first 9 cantos before coming to the 10th canto. So one must first realize these verses of nectar of instruction before going to Radhakund. If one does not realize them, one is surely to misunderstand the instruction giving herein and ruin one's spiritual life. Momentum, we have here the purport. We will just read that and then I will elaborate on it. So can someone read the first paragraph?
Why is Radhakunda so exalted? The lake is so exalted because it belongs to Srimati Radharani, who is the most beloved object of Sri Krishna. Among all the gopis, she is the most beloved. Similarly, her lake, Sri Radhakunda, is also described by great sages as the lake that is as dear to Krishna as Radha herself. Indeed, Krishna's love for Radhakund and for Srimati Radharani is the same in all respects. Radhakunda is very rarely attained, even by great personalities fully engaged in devotional service, not to speak of ordinary devotees who are only engaged in the practice of Vaidhi Bhakti.
Okay. Someone else, the last paragraph.
It is stated that a devotee will at once develop pure love for Krishna in the wake of the gopis if he once takes a bath in Radhakund. Srila Rupa Goswami recommends that even if one cannot live permanently on the banks of Radhakund, he should at least take a bath in the lake as many times as possible. This is the most important item in the execution of devotional service. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in this connection that Sri Radhakund is the most select place for those interested in advancing their devotional service in the wake of the lady friends Sakis and confidential serving maids Manjaris of Srimati Radharani. Living entities who are eager to return home to transcendental kingdom of God, Goloka Vrindavan, by means of attaining their spiritual bodies, Sitadeha, should live at Radha Kund, take shelter of the confidential serving maids of Sri Radha, and under their direction engage constantly in her service. This is the most accepted method for those engaged in devotional service under the protection of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this connection, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes that even great sages and great devotees like Narada and Sanaka do not get an opportunity to come to Radha Kund to take their baths. What then to speak of ordinary devotees? If by great fortune one gets an opportunity to come to the Radha Kund and bath even once, he can develop his transcendental love for Krishna, exactly as the gopis did. It is also recommended that one should live on the banks of Radha Kund and should be absorbed in the loving service of the Lord. One should bathe there regularly and give up all material conceptions, taking shelter of Sri Radha and her assistant gopis. If one is thus constantly engaged during his lifetime, after giving up the body, he will return back to Godhead to serve Sri Radha in the same way as he contemplated during his life on the banks of Radha Kund. The conclusion is that to live on the banks of Radha Kund and to bathe there daily constitute the highest perfection of devotional service. It is a difficult position to attain even for great sages and devotees like Narada. Thus there is no limit to glory Sri Radha Kund. By serving Radha Kund, one can get an opportunity to become an assistant of Srimati Radharani under the eternal guidance of the gopis.
I did it twice. At the appearance of Radha Kund at midnight, I had a dip in Radha Kund. I knew I would get in Radha Kund, but not sure I would get out of it. There were thousands of people. But it didn't happen. I didn't get Krishna Prema. But this is explained here, that Rupa Goswami explains that simply by bathing once in Radha Kund, one's love for God is fully aroused. At the same time, one's Radha Kund is rarely attained even by great sages like Narada. Rarely attained. But we know that many Vaidhi sadhana bhaktis, devotees like us, took bath in Radha Kund, but they may wonder, why did I didn't get Prema Bhakti? But still they are more fortunate than Narada, because Narada doesn't get the opportunity. But it's given here by Rupa Goswami is talking about one only be perceived by devotees who have Bhava Bhakti. So if you are at the stage of Bhava Bhakti and you take Bhava in Radha Kund, you get Prema Bhakti. That's what is meant here. That's all. We are not on the stage of Bhava Bhakti, but yeah. But it's good to take a bath in Radha Kund if it's done in the devotional way, because Radha Kund is as dear as Krishna, as Radharani. Because according to some devotees, there is some benefit in bathing in Radha Kund the way we do, or the same way as there is benefit in chanting Namabhas without faith. Srila Prabhupada didn't want us to spend much time in Radha Kund. And although at first he had no objection to let devotees bath in Radha Kund, later he changed his mind and he saw their irreverential attitude. So we have to be very careful when we take bath there. Another reason is that their most wonderful the most wonderful pastimes between Radha and Krishna took place there. Radha Kund is so dear to Krishna as Radharani because Radharani is absolute. There is no difference between her form, name, activities and paraphernalia. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Yes, Fanuya.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Maharaj. I had also good fortune to be 2 times. I was 2 times in Vrindavan, and my god sisters encouraged me to take baths. Also, my Guru Maharaj used to say, "Was macht ein Hund in Radakund?" I think maybe you know this quote in German. And my question is, how far should we, also from the distance, now in Germany, cultivate a relationship with Radakund? Also, what is important for us? Also, for instance, I sing every day Radha Kripa Kataksha, and Krishna Kripa Kataksha. But also should I develop a relationship, or how should I develop a relationship?
But it's good, I think, first to read about Radhakund and all the places around Radhakund, to get to know them. And when we can do Prachamanal Parikram, go around Govardhan and enter Radhakund and take a bath or take some water and put it on our head and pray to Radhakund in a reverential way. That is fine. That it helps us to arouse the sentiments, especially when done in association with other devotees. But I don't recommend to go there alone. In association of devotees on parikram, that it's good to do. That Govardhan, parikram, walking about Radha, about Giraj, and then ending up at Radhakund. Certainly good, but to reside there and to associate with the residents, no, that's not recommended. Is that okay, Benuja?
Yeah, thank you very much. Because for a totally beginner, as I came there, then there are a lot of beggars, and they want money, and so and then it's a little strange at the beginning.
Yeah, it's good to give charity there also. That's beneficial. But better in association with devotees. Good.
I have two general questions, Maharaj. Because tomorrow is the last session. Maybe you can announce tomorrow how could we give an energy balance to you, also for this course, or how can we show our appreciation?
No, that I'm doing it free. That no problem. That because we are at the end of the course. We won't have a class tomorrow. I must say, no. It will finish here. But I have used the complete 2 hours and did not waste time, so I went through it quite quickly. I don't know others. I could have kept the schedule and stop earlier each time, but I didn't want to do that because I'm also very busy. I have also a lot of things to do. And by that you have also more time to study now and go over it.
My second question is, for me, this was so valuable. I would like to do this every week. This is most helpful for me. To hear from and learn from you. Do you have other regularly? I will not do anything with exam. No, I have already this Bhakti Shastri exam.
Sure.
Now, what are for opportunities to hear from you live regularly?
Well, if you want to do that, I'm not propagating it, but are you on WhatsApp? Yeah, then if you send me your number, I will send it to Mahima Mataji in Antwerp, and she adds you to my WhatsApp group. And there all my lectures come, and invitations for lectures and so on. They are coming there. But I'm not a member of that group. I'm not organizing that, but I send them to Mahima. She puts them on the group. Wherever I'm going, I send pictures from where I am and links of lectures and also invitation links for lectures.
Yeah.
You find them.
And where can, as I don't have a contact of you, also where can I send my WhatsApp contact?
Moment, I sent my email in the chat.
Yeah, emails.
Chat. Write me an email. I will send with your WhatsApp number, and I will make arrangement to add you. That is it's. I put it now in the chat. That's my email. That you can write it down or take a picture.
No, I'm old-fashioned. I wrote it down.
Okay, then that's good. That.
Yeah, thank you very much, Marat. This is
My pleasure.
exactly what I
So
wanted to know.
good. Thank you so much, and I hope to be at your service somewhere in the future. Okay. Jai Prabhupada, Hare Krishna.
All
Thank
the
you
best
very
for you.
much, Maharaj.
God
Hare
bless.
Hare
Good
Krishna.
health. Yeah, thank you very, very much.
Jai.
Oh,
Yeah. Done.